That's right, it's that time again. Mithril is heading up to Warhammer World this year for the 2026 Middle-earth Grand Tournament. And for once, I am not going alone. Well, I never go alone. But for once, we are actually going up with an official Planet Mithril team. That's right, the Failship of the Ring is heading up. Granted, not in its entirety, sadly, but we have 5 members of our little gaming fellowship heading up for a weekend full of hobby awesomeness and basking amongst a company of such other excellent and admirable hobbits. So you guys have an idea of what I'm taking, but I wanted to take the chance just to kind of touch on what's going on, the last few minute changes, show off the finished armies and the finished display board, and also bask in the hobby that the rest of the team have managed to put out ready for this weekend. So you guys will know that my 2 armies are Arnor and the Host of the Witch King. Of course, for GT you need to have 2 armies at the 700 point level. So the Arnor side has stayed pretty much exactly the same as it was in the last video. I've locked that in, that is good. That is a 43 model count with Arvedui, Malbeth and Argadir, 12 knights and a host of armoured Arnor warriors. The Host of the Witch King side's changed ever so slightly. It helps if you read the book and read the rules, because I had a couple of Deadmarsh Spectres in my list along with the Witch King to try and make use of the army rule where its friendly spirits give orcs within 3 terror. It's important to note it specifies hero models, of which the Deadmarsh Spectres are not. Thankfully worked that out before I locked in my list, so I didn't have to worry about taking 2 Spectres, which, to be fair, Spectres are a bit poo. 15 points, if they're around about the 9-10 mark with the Felllight? Maybe, but you're going to get that off once a game, if you're lucky. So I have then decided to bin off the Spectres. As much as I love the models, as much as I'm really happy with the paint jobs, and I've worked it around a little bit to be able to get in 2 more werewolves. So now we have 6 big wolves running forward with the rest of the Angmar forces. It did cost the Witch King his Morgul Blade as well, but in all the practice games I've had, that's not come up. The model count stayed the same, 35 models on the nose, but we just have no Spectres and 2 big old werewolves. So it makes for a nice pack of 6 werewolves. And here you can see my finished army. We have the hosts of Arnor standing up against the Witch King and his thralls of Carndom, orcs and werewolves. I wanted to kind of play around and make a proper little battle scene, because whenever I do these kind of boards, it tends to be kind of almost like a display piece. I think I did the Minas Tirith and the Helm's Deep, and that was a 360 board where you turn it around one way and the wall would kind of segment into another bit of the wall. But I really wanted to kind of make a cinematic scene as much as I can for GT, and I think I've managed to do this here. You can see we've got the Witch King at the head of his forces meeting Arvedui at the head of his. All those Arnor warriors. A dedicated little path that I've put in for the Arnor cavalry to charge down. That was an idea put in by Jeb, which I think is a really solid idea and gives the cavalry like a nice little place for them to live on the board, because I haven't got a clue where they go otherwise. And playing around with some heights, you've got Malbeth and some of the warriors up on further on different levels, different elevations, and dotted around with it being like a bit of a ruined outpost, a ruined fortress of Arnor, the last bastion of the Men of the North in the face of such overwhelming odds. And then we've got, of course, the Witch King's forces. Carndom on one side, led by Aldrak, who's probably not going to kill a single thing in any of my games, and the orcs on the other side. The Carndom, really fun models, really enjoy the way they play. Really nice models to paint as well, I must say. Like, I really enjoy these resin sculpts that Forge World are putting out right now. So, it didn't look particularly overwhelming for the Arnor, seeing as they had 8 more models than the Witch King did. So what I've done, I've gone round and I've found some old armies for dead. I've cut up a couple of hill tribesmen from Dunland, a couple of Spectres, and a couple of other Arnor dudes I had lying around that were surplus to requirement for the army. And I've painted them up as spirits, cut them apart, and I'm having them rising out of the ground around all sides of the Arnor forces to really be a bit more oppressive, to kind of really just heighten that sense of danger and that sense of threat, and the last stand of the Kingdom of Arnor against all these malevolent spirits led by the Witch King of Angmar himself. I'm reasonably happy with how the board has come out, and of course I've done 6 little objective markers. I have not in any way been peer pressured into doing this by Jeb and Sam. We have 6 little objective markers because they're not wrong. I always do custom objectives, and there's a reason I don't take bowmen anymore, is because I always end up stringing the bows. But yes, I am alarmingly well prepared for GT. I've been more or less done for about a week and a bit, so just a couple of little finishing touches which are completely superfluous to the board and the army themselves. But yeah, and then just packing and getting ready really. But I just want to touch on some of the other armies that are coming with us. We have a good mix this year. I think we have Arnor and Angmar. We've got 2 Rivendell, 2 Easterlings, a Men of the West, which is Army of the Dead, Corsairs of Umbar, what am I missing? Thranduil's Halls, and Moria. So we've got a good mix of lists this year. I'm going to start off with Jeb, who is taking Rivendell and Moria. His Rivendell force he does really well with, and he's got, I think at the last event he had an 80% win rate with his Rivendell. Very good at elves. If anyone can run elves, then it's Jeb. He's looking at Elrond with knights. Glorfindel with 1 knight of Rivendell without a shield. Feels a bit sacrificial to me, but hey-ho. And it has Lindir as well to kind of act as a battery for Elrond so he can get those Wrath of Bruidens off, and they're really nasty when they go off. I'm glad it's not taken Armen, let's put it that way. In the games we've had, it's not gone well for Angmar against this elf list. It's running quite low on the model count, but he knows how to put elves in positions where they can make the most of their numbers, and for some reason he has this uncanny ability of pulling 6s out of dice rerolls. I don't know what it is, it winds me up no end. But I haven't got many work in progress picks from Jeb, mainly because he's still working on it as we speak. He's still got a lot of goblins to paint. He's not too bothered about what they look like because he's mainly only taking his goblins because he wants to take a dragon. Dragon is one of his favourite models, and he wants to take a dragon, and he can only take that in Dragons of the North and in this Moria list. So that's kind of ruled his army choices. He's not doing Warg Attack this year, which I'm very disappointed about. Next year, maybe. But last time I spoke to him, he was debasing goblins. I don't know what he's doing to them, but considerably debased. Wayne Smash Smith is also bringing up Rivendell. Apparently elves are very common in Surrey. So I don't quite know why everyone's leaning towards that. But it's a very similar list to Jeb in regard to model count and kind of construction of them. He hasn't gone for the named heroes instead. There's no Lindir and there's no Glorfindel. Instead it's 2 elf captains, and he's put a few more bowmen in there, mainly so he can get that support from the back line. Really, really solid, and you can see he's working on them right now. I think he's got a couple of knights to finish off and a few other bits and bobs here. But he is also bringing up 700 points of Easterlings as well, the first of our Easterling players, led by Andor. It's interesting because the 2 Easterling lists we have coming up this weekend, they're 2 different ones. So Host the Dragon Emperor, with no Wardrakes, which I'm very disappointed about, Jamie. I'm going to have words with you at the event. And we've got the Eastlings, led by Andor, with a host of Black Dragons, and their rule with Andor is really good, getting the +1 fight value within a certain range of Andor. I think it's 3 inches. Really, really solid. It's caught my honour out a few times. A couple of Black Dragon Acolytes, Dragon Cult Acolytes, sorry, a couple of Wardrakes, and then just, the gleaming hosts of Easterling armour and halberds. Out onto Callum, who is bringing up Men of the West and Corsairs of Umbar. Now this was really funny because when I did my team captain job and I put in the chat, make sure you get your 2 lists submitted in time for the deadline, the list submission for GT. Both Callum and Jamie went, 2 lists? Yeah, it's GT, you need a good and evil. So cue the hurriedly putting together 2 good lists that have now materialised. And Callum making hasty trips to Warhammer World to try and find Warriors of the Dead, who I've been trying to find as well for ages, out of stock. But he has put them together. He has got his Army of the Dead here. And we are looking at, where are we? Let me get the picture up. Army of the Dead, always solid, always really brutal. We've got Aragorn, Gimli, the King of the Dead, of course. Looks like we've got about 18 Warriors of the Dead, 19 maybe, including that banner, and a Rider of the Dead, because who doesn't love the Riders of the Dead? They're really cool models. Army of the Dead, super quick and easy to kind of bash out, especially if you didn't realise you had to have a good army and you needed to get them done. But he's done a really good job here. They look really, really striking. I'm really happy he's taken the Helm's Deep sculpts, personally, because they are 2 of my favourite sculpts in the whole game. That box here is Helm's Deep. If they do that on beta order again, I'm going to be lost. But yes, so we are bringing up Men of the West there, and then we have Callum's Corsairs of Umbar, which is a considerably higher model count here. So many models. There's like 24 Corsairs, 12 Crossbowmen. Apparently Callum doesn't want to make friends at a GT. 12 Crossbowmen is nasty. And add the new Corsair Siege Ballista, which I haven't seen played before. I'm interested to see how that plays, what that works like. Of course, the standard staples of Dalamir and Delgamar there as well. Can really make Corsairs pop with some really nice vibrant purples and blues. That's what Callum's done here. And your armies look fantastic, mate. But again, it looks like Callum is more or less done. So as far as I can tell, that's 2 of us now that are done and 2 of us that are not. So it's kind of hinge on the last one, Jamie. And he is bringing up the 2nd Easterling Force, Host of the Dragon Emperor, and Thranduil's Halls. Did I say that in the intro bit? I can't remember. He has sent through some pictures today, and he wanted to get them all finished up for his pictures, and my god, these look absolutely stunning. I don't know, I didn't expect anything less because I played your 3 trolls at Throne Skulls last year, and they were just phenomenal. It's really Really lovely take on what Jamie's done here with the Host of the Dragon Emperor. There is an annoying lack of drakes here. 34 drakes you can get in this list. No, wait, that's 1,000 points. 22 drakes you can get in this list here, Jamie, and I'm not seeing 22 drakes. It's almost as if you don't care about Easterlings, mate. I know for a fact, having painted up the Dragon Emperor myself, he's not an easy model to do. You have made that look absolutely phenomenal. I love the ranks of Easterling pikes sitting at the back with the black dragons at the front, Rutabi at the front as well. Absolutely stunning, and I love the simplicity of that base, just letting the models really shine off, and the painted background as well is a really nice touch. I didn't know you were going to do that. Yeah, this is a glorious golden gleaming horde of Easterlings, which I think anyone would be overjoyed to play on the board. I'm really excited to see how that looks in person. And then we have the Thranduil's Halls again. I thought you were going to take the elk version of Thranduil personally. I was a bit surprised. Mainly because I just built that model up today and I was like, I'd really love to see Jamie paint that. But we have Thranduil's Halls as his good army. Thranduil, Tariel Legolas, Mirkwood, Armoured Elves, and a couple of the Wood Elf, what they call Sentinel models, which are stunning models, but definitely not worth 25 points. But done up in like a ruined kind of dale, snowy, mountainous kind of area. I got really confused because he did tell me what his lists were a little while ago, and then when he sent these boards through as pictures of his display boards, I was like, so you're doing Easterlings and Gondor? Forgetting other places can have cobblestone. It's not just exclusively made for Gondor. But I really like the red you've done on the Tariel and the Legolas in particular. The gold and the red, again, really striking. I imagine that was quite easy to do at the same time as the Easterlings. It was more of a case of get this stuff done, right? Minimise how many times you have to change colours on your palette. But the models look really striking. And yeah, that will make 3 out of 5 of us now that are done for GT. Everyone's models and armies are looking absolutely phenomenal. I'm super excited to get up there this weekend with the team, the members that are coming. Shame we can't get all 9 of us up there, but I know for Ardacon, I think we're going to get about 7 of 9 of us up there. So that'll be a really big showing for the Fellowship. Everyone should be super proud of the models they're producing, and yeah, they all look absolutely phenomenal. I know we're going to see some of the regular faces up there. I know for a fact Calman and Phil, who were actually featured in the Warhammer community article, along with yours truly, for a progress blog on how people were preparing for the event and what people's armies were. Calman, I think, is doing Usurpers of Edoras, I'm assuming alongside with the Defenders of Edoras, and he's got a really beautiful looking snow troll, which he put on Facebook, which he's got icicles from the horns and everything, and the tone on that thing looks absolutely stunning. I cannot wait to see the rest of his army. And Phil doing his usual Phil thing with the gorgeous looking checkerboards and the Corsair bases. We could expect nothing less from wonderful Mr. Phil, and he has got a few days left to, from what he says, bake his display board. So I look forward to sharing that with you guys as and when I find out what he's doing there. And my forces as well, we're very lucky and very fortunate to be included in the Warhammer community article. Didn't just do that, we also made Poster Boy, my Arnor, on that thumbnail. I've screenshotted that, man, I'm so proud. But yeah, it was a really nice little write-up and a nice thing to be able to just share with the community. Just super excited to get up there this weekend and blow off some steam and go out on the Friday, and whoever wants to come out and hang out with us is more than welcome to. And then just a weekend of just like-minded hobbyists playing the game we love. I cannot wait. I'm setting myself some little challenges across the weekend because of course I am. It's going to be more or less a kill counter for whoever scores the most kills between Arvidui, Argadir and Aldrak. I've got a lot of people with A in this list. In regard to Malbeth and the Witch King, they're not necessarily killy pieces. So for them, it's going to be a case of how many spells does the Witch King cast successfully, as I have a track record of doing magic very, very badly. And with Malbeth, it'll be how many models can he have saved with his Foresight of the Elder, his 5-up fate save effectively he gives to Arnor warriors within 6 inches. How many models he keeps alive with that during the course of the weekend. So we'll keep some tallies. Let me know what you think the numbers are going to be, and let me know who you think is going to do better on the kills. You will be seeing lots of stuff from us on socials over the weekend, giving you all the reels, all the updates. We'll put all our games up there with our opponents as well, showing off their armies as we go across the weekend. And I can't wait to share with you the results when we get back the week after. Probably not the week we get back, because the post-hobby blues are always bad. Super excited to show off the team armies. Really happy we're getting up there with team shirts, team dice. Feels like a proper little team now going up. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And I will see you all at Warhammer World on Saturday. Take care, guys. Safe travels if you're coming. And until next time, happy hobbying. Bye-bye.